Hello, tonight we are joined by Alice Clarke, freelance journalist and contributor slash writer slash co-creator of Press Any Button, available on Substack. Alice, how are you going?
I'm going very well. How are you going?
I'm going pretty well. Now, apart from wanting to, spend time with friends, part of the reason we got you in here tonight is throughout your career, you've been very involved in apps and the sort of digital sphere. Board games have also been on apps quite a bit. Can you tell me a little bit about, why you like board game apps?
I love board game apps because it gives me the opportunity to discover new games that I might not have played otherwise, and to play games that I can't be bothered setting up or aren't quite sure if it's worth the $60 to $100 investment. Sometimes it's easier to just pay $10 to see if you like it in app form before committing.
Yeah, there's a couple of games here that have apps. Like Root's a good one where I actually like the board game a lot more, but in terms of like learning the game, because it's 4 different asymmetric factions, the app has a really great tutorial system which teaches you the game to the point where like a lot of people in the board game media are like, I never want to teach this game, you just like, here's the money for the app and you play it and you will learn it, and then you can then get onto the table.
I had a similar experience with Wingspan. So I first played Wingspan at my friend Alice and Kat's house. And we played it in the board game form, and I hated it, and my wife hated it, and it was the worst game we had ever played. It was so bad because I didn't get it. And then for work, I had to review the computer game version. And so we had that on the laptop, and I had to play it for work. And we played a couple of games, and suddenly it made sense. It clicked a lot better because you couldn't mess it up. And we worked out what we were doing wrong, and then we ended up playing it at least once a day for about a year. So I'm very well versed in that game now, and I wouldn't have gotten into the paper version had I not fallen in love with the computer game version.
Now, I think different people are going to take different things away from that. I think you can definitely take away that the app is really great teaching tool, that it does enforce rules, and that it's easy to get to the table. Yeah. Someone who also knows Elias, all I'm taking away is he's a terrible teacher of board games.
I would never say such a thing. Elias, you are wonderful, and I'm sure you have many great qualities.
Yeah.
But also, it helps that Wingspan just has too many components to set up, which makes it kind of suck in paper form if you don't already love it.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think you do hit the nail on the head that there is the convenience factor of a lot of games, board games are can be quite finicky. So another example is Gloomhaven. So I'm playing a Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion campaign with friends. It's a big sort of dungeon crawler. The Jaws of the Lion is sort of a scaled down version with just a map book, where the original game has like lots of tiles. So it is a beast to set up in with 4 people, where there's an app which it takes you straight into the game. The downside of, so that's great, but the downside of that is you're losing the social aspect sometimes when you're playing those apps.
See, that's why I enjoyed Wingspan and Paperback and Hardback and Ticket to Ride, less so Cox, that's just because it's a bad app. And that was because I was playing it with my wife, who was in the same room, or sometimes with the whole family, so we could pass and play. So we still had that social aspect, but we didn't have all the setup, and we could play it on a train or on a plane or in bed or over breakfast when we don't have a dining table. I liked the flexibility of it a lot more. I have played games by myself on planes against the computer, particularly Paperback and Hardback. And I don't like that experience as much. It does come down to the social aspect of whether or not it's good. And if the app allows you to do that in person, then yay. If it doesn't, then why does it even exist?
Well, I play solo games, like not exclusively, but I enjoy solo games. If the mode is well done, that you're versing AI. If you're playing something like co-op, a game like a Pandemic, because you can take 2 characters and control them.
That's true. I do enjoy that.
So I don't necessarily mind playing against an AI, but sometimes there is the physicality that I like, and that is balanced against the tedium and the finickiness of setting up gazillion pieces. But sometimes it is nice in certain games that, Quacks, you're pulling stuff out of a bag, and And I like deck builders like paperback. I know you like hardback more, but I haven't played it.
Hardback is way better. You have to play hardback. The apps will crash on you constantly, but it's worth having to reopen it on your iPad every 6 turns or so.
But there is something about a deck builder where you're sort of like shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Oh, this is my hand. That I like that physicality. And the same reason that I don't like Magic Arena that much is I like the physicality of, okay, this is the card I'm drawing. Okay, and there's that element that and I completely get why people like apps, and I don't have anything against them. And there's definitely a bunch of games that apps are integrated, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's elements that it doesn't feel the same.
See, I find that with rolling dice. I love the feel of shaking the dice and rolling it and hearing that sound and wondering what's going to happen because I do not trust the random number generator. However, I hate shuffling. I am bad at shuffling. I've never shuffled well. It takes too long. If a game requires me to shuffle a whole bunch, give me an app. A game that I'd really like to try the app of, and not the game, though I love the game, is Stardew Valley, the board game. Because I love Stardew Valley as a video game. I think I would really enjoy the concept of Stardew Valley as a board game more if I did not have to set up and deal with 15 different currencies. It is too complicated. It could just be that it's not necessarily a great board game, even though I really enjoy it. But I think that's one that would be a really good app. Whereas Carcassonne, the app is technically well made, but the experience is drawing the tile, talking to the people,
and seeing the map that you have created as a team, and then also being able to be like, haha, I've stuffed you up.
Yeah, and trying to make it stay on the table and not go over here.
But I think you have hit the money on with taking care of systems, because there are also official but also unofficial apps that for some board games where this will track this currency or this resource, so that rather than doing that finicky thing, it's just okay, I've got 4 of those.
Yeah.
And it's then displayed nicely, and it's not another component to try and deal with.
And it keeps track of the maths for you if you try and do 6 different things and you have to use one thing. Because I'm always going to lose, if there's too many currencies, I'm going to lose track of one of them. It's the same with video games too. If you have more than 3 currencies, I think you've possibly done a bad job in creating your game. But in less than extenuating circumstances, you do not need more than 3 currencies.
Yeah, but I mean, some games are sort of resource conversion games where it's sort of how are you making this the most efficient use of this puzzle as you can. Last thing, can you name 3 apps that you recommend for people? Into this camera, go.
I don't know if I actually recommend them because they break all the time, but I love them anyway. Actually, Wingspan does not break. Wingspan is fantastic. You can get it on Steam, and I love it. I also highly recommend Hardback for iPad. It will break all the time. You'll deal with that. But before you play Hardback, you should play Paperback, which will break even more. But it gives you kind of a good grounding before you play Hardback, and I will recommend those 2 games to the end of the earth, even though they're just really broken. Please update them. If you make those apps, please fix it. And also please fix Ticket to Ride. I don't know if you're watching this, but please just hack it, somebody. Just make it work. It's really good when it works.
Thanks, Alice.
Thank you.